Good evening. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ms. Fields, may I have a roll call, please, to establish a quorum? May I have a roll call to establish a quorum?
Present.
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 Ms. Moore-Real is excused tonight. Right. Thank you. Next, we will move to our tax rate hearing. I will turn it over to Dr. Patton. Okay. When we get to
Good evening, everyone. We are going to move into our tax levy hearing, our tax rate hearing. What is a tax rate hearing? Every year, the school district has to set a tax rate hearing. These are the funds that the district will collect to help the operations of the district. So I am going to hand it over to Ms. Stephanie Terry. She is the CFO for Riverview Gardens. Ms. Terry?
Hello, everyone. Good evening, Board President, Vice President, Superintendent, and everyone. Tonight we are holding the Riverview Gardens School District 2025 tax rate hearing. This is an important part of our annual financial process and a requirement under Missouri law. The purpose of this hearing is to share the tax rate information for the upcoming fiscal year and to allow an opportunity for public comment before board action. As you can see on the breakdown of the assessed valuation and the proposed tax rate for each property class, residential property remains the largest contributor to our tax base, increasing to $279.9 million in 2025. Agricultural and commercial property have also grown slightly, while personal property decreased somewhat compared to last year. Each category rate is calculated under state guidelines. The tax table can clearly summarizes that the total assessed valuation across all categories have grown from $320.9 million in 2024 to $374.4 million in 2025. Based on those valuations and the formula, the district requires just over $22.1 million in revenue to operate. These rates balance our budget and ensure we meet our obligations for the 25-26 school year. So the proposed tax rates based on the calculation for residential is 5.0829, agricultural is 5.2984, commercial is 5.7480, personal is 6.9069 for a blended rate of 5.4026. In comparison against last year, the blended rate was 5.9459. Since the assessed valuation has increased, the tax rate should go down. That is based on Hancock Amendment law that was passed in 1980. So if it is higher, we have to roll back the dollar amount in order to not collect more revenue. So the revenue impact, the proposed rates will generate, like I said, $22.1 million approximately in revenue for the school district. This revenue is essential to fund the district's operating budget and maintain services for students, staff, and the community. The rates have been calculated in compliance with Missouri statutes and guidelines from the state auditor's office. So the blended rate, again, is 5.4026. An increase from new construction is $36,116. This reflects growth in our community while ensuring compliance with Missouri laws. Tonight, the board will take action on the proposed tax rates. Once approved, the rates will be submitted to the state auditor's office as required before October the 1st. We will then continue to communicate the results to our stakeholders and continue to monitor actual revenue collections against budget projections. This process ensures transparency, accountability, and fiscal responsibility. Any questions? Yes, ma'am. Our tax rate has decreased. Since the assessed valuation went up, they decreased. So year over year, last year was 5.9459, and this year it's 5.4026. Yes. Yes, correct. Thanks. Yes, ma'am? Well, it's really in place to protect the taxpayers. So by law, we can't just increase the tax rate. So since the assessed valuation went up, we have to lower the tax rate by law.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next we will have public comments on the tax rate. The speakers comments should not exceed more than 3 minutes, and it must be limited at this point in our agenda to the tax rate hearing. Do we have anyone for public comments? Okay. Seeing none, we will move on. Thank you very much. Next, may I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Second.
It has been moved by Ms. Tisworth and seconded by Dr. May to approve the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Next, we will have Riverview Excellence.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight for Riverview Excellence, we have several individuals. First, I'm going to ask if our scholars from Lewis and Clark are here. Miss Riley D., Ariana B., and Chloe J. If you're here, can you stand up? Come on, you can come on up to the front. And let me see, these are pretty big. Who's Chloe? And Riley. And you can stay up here. And Ariana. Don't go anywhere, ladies. So Riley, Ariana, and Chloe, they are Lewis and Clark Elementary's communication team. They're the communication go-to young ladies. And so these young ladies, they always step up and help out Principal Williams and the office staff whenever they need help. They recently contributed to a 5 Things You Should Know video. They help write the script for that video, and they're just always willing to help. They're also wonderful citizens. We don't have behavioral issues out of these 3, and they're also always willing to help their classmates as well. So we want to honor them with Riverview Excellence just for always helping out, always being willing to step up, and just being a great representation of Riverview Gardens. I think all of them are in the STEP team here at Lewis and Clark, so they're members of the STEP team and extracurricular activities as well. So let's give them a hearty round of applause. And then you can sit down for now. We'll have you come up and take a picture in a little bit. Thank you.
We're getting them for a picture.
Yes, we're having them. I told them, go sit down for now, and then we'll come back and take a picture at the end. Next up, Mr. Joshua James. Come on up. All right, and Mr. James is, he's a new face here at Lewis and Clark, but he's not new to the district. He's part of the custodial staff here at Lewis and Clark, and since he's arrived, he's gotten 5-star reviews. Everyone has said that he's been a great asset here to Lewis and Clark. He's helped to improve the building readiness, the cleanliness, and also is always willing to help the staff with anything that they need. And so we want to salute you and see that you are appreciated, your work is recognized. Again, I see heads shaking up there because they've heard the same things that I've heard. All right, thank you. And you can stay up here. We're also going to call Mr. Gerald Freeman up.
Can I say something about,
Yep.
let me say something about Mr. James. I came over this summer and I walked in and Mr. James there's a bench right out here and he was seated and I said to him, how does the building look? He said, the building looks great, the building looks great. It's just that vestibule. When they're done with that, I'm gonna get this floor together. I'm gonna get this floor together. So that stood out to me, and I do want to say thank you for that hard work because you were committed and you were like, the rest of the building is looking great. It's this vestibule. As soon as they finish this floor is going to be together. So I do want to say thank you for that. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. And also, Mr. Gerald Freeman, the Director of Facilities. Give him a round of applause. So at the last meeting, you all remember we honored Carl Scheidt, and he's going to take a picture. I reminded him he's got to take his picture today. But also, Mr. Freeman was recognized, and I'm going to read a little bit of his nomination from Dr. Winfield at Meadows. She said, I want to take a few moments to recognize and commend the hard work and dedication of Mr. Gerald Freeman. During the summer months, he went above and beyond to prepare Meadows Elementary for the 25-26 school year. He invested countless hours to ensure that our campus was fully prepared to welcome back scholars in a safe, clean, and organized learning environment. His commitment to excellence was evident in every detail, and he worked to ensure that classroom and common areas were ready to receive our scholars and families. And anybody who knows Mr. Freeman knows he's quite the personality. He always has jokes, especially about Subway, but brings a smile to the faces, whatever buildings that he's in. So, Mr. Freeman, we appreciate you as well. All right, now if we can have the students and their families and Principal Williams come on up and take a photo with the board. We're going to take it against this wall over here, just to prevent. So come on up, students, parents, cousins, aunties. Okay. Well, you'll be blocking the wall, though. We won't see the wall in the background because you'll be there. Come on over, come on, come on. Yeah, there's a lot of you. Yeah, act like you like each other. We're all right. Mr. Scheidt, Mr. Freeman, Mr. James, custodial crew. And as the custodial crew is coming up, the facilities crew, I also want to mention we had a nomination really for the entire department. Just for the sake of time, we didn't want to bring everybody up, but I do want to read those names. And you guys can come on up, fill the picture. But Brian Anderson, Danny Coleman, Jane Crum, Tony Davis, Stephen Dennis, Melvin Douglas, Ryan Franklin, Demetrius Jones, Eric Lane, James McClendon, Tony Sanders, Herb Samples, and Carlton Shirley and Ben Williams. So we want to give them honor as well. Go ahead. And that concludes Riverview Excellence. Thank you.
Okay, whoever's ready.
Next, we will have public comments. Ms. Fields, do we have anyone who's come out for public comment? Okay. Thank you. We will now move to announcements and board remarks. Do we have any announcements from our board members? Any remarks? Ms.
I'd like to
Lane?
make hold on. Well, no, is it? Now it's on. Now it's on. Okay. So the announcement I'd like to make is to remind our public, in April of 2026, we will be having an election for new school board members. There are 3 seats that will be open for school board membership. Please, if you are interested, now is the time to start listening and coming to the meetings, paying attention. We need citizens who are engaged in our community and citizens who want to represent the Riverview Gardens School District, because citizens will be voting for you to represent the Riverview Garden School District. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out, and we will have whatever answer you need. We will give you an answer. Thank you so much. Oh, I'm sorry. I was just told you don't need no degrees. Seriously, there are no particular educational degrees required for this position. It's your passion, it's your concern, it's your consideration, your dedication, your willingness to learn and cooperate with other board members that help move this district forward. And all jokes aside, there are no specific educational requirements. Some people are sometimes confused by that. We need your passion, we need your cooperation, and we need your help. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. May?
Yes, I have mentioned in the past about volunteering to support the city from the tornado impact. There is still opportunity where various churches are still giving out resources. So if you go to United Way Volunteer STL.org, you can find opportunities that normally happen on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays to support those families. A coalition is also doing canvassing to inform individuals about insurance. So if you would like to canvass and have the youth to canvass from the high school to get any volunteer hours for A+ or anything else, then they can definitely sign up to do that and be able to get credit hours. So since I am the coordinator, once they provide their volunteer service, I can mark it as complete in the volunteer system. So we want to encourage our youth to help our partnering city that's in need, because we were blessed to not experience it. I also want to share that the majority of the board attended a town hall with our state representative, Marlene Terry. It was very informative, I would say. Not a lot of time to get into a lot of discussion, but I thought it was very informative. So I'm looking forward to more dialogue like that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other remarks from the board? Okay, we'll keep moving. Next, may I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Madam Chair, I move
Com-
to approve
A motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay. Motion has been made by Ms. Lane and seconded by Dr. May to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? No discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. The consent agenda is approved. Next, we will move to the superintendent report.
Thank you, Board Chair. I will make just a few announcements. Our current registration is 4,715 students. That is slightly down, approximately 220 students from this time last year. As you know, we did the demographic study, and they had projected that we would lose between 800 to 1,000 students for over the next 10 years. So apparently we are on the way. However, if there are families out there that are not yet registered, we encourage you to go online, get your students registered. We also encourage you to go into the building. The building can help you get registered. So if you are unable to register online, please make sure that you go into the building. I do want to say that we've had several activities within all of our buildings: donuts for dads in several locations, muffins for mom, meet the teacher. So we've had a lot of activities in our building. Also, to our principals, we are aware that October is National Principal Month. So we want to acknowledge our principals. They are doing the hard work in those buildings. I also want to mention that I've had the opportunity to go to several community meetings, the Delwood community meeting. I've been to the Moline Acres community meeting last week, and I will be attending the Bell Fountain Town Hall this week. I am sharing information about our district, where we are, and how well we are performing, what our goals are for the school year as well. So I encourage you to come out to those. Homecoming will be October 11th. The homecoming parade will be at 9 a.m. The game will be immediately following that, about 11 a.m., and then the dance will be later on that night. We will also begin our Boundary Realignment Committee. Remember, we put out information about redrawing the boundaries with the closure of Danforth School. So we will start those meetings the first full week of October. Later this week, when we confirm a date, that will be shared with the people who signed up to be on the Boundary Committee, as well as the community. And then, take off my glasses, finally, we will have our student reps in place and seated at our next board meeting, which will be October the 14th, and that meeting will take place at Central Services. Madam Chair, that concludes my announcement.
Thank you, Dr. Patton. Next, we will have our items for information. Dr. Patton?
Our first item up for information is the SSD Partnership Agreement and Assurance Plan. Making this presentation is Ms. Deirdre Liddell, the Executive Director of Student Support and Community Service, and this policy is in conjunction with policy IGBA, Special Education. And Mashonda Bailing. Oh, very good. So we have Mashonda Bailing. She is the Director of Special Education here within the Riverview Garden School District, and then Ms. Deirdre Liddell.
Good evening to the Riverview Gardens Board of Education, Dr. Tanya Patton, colleagues, and community. Local assurances and partnership between Riverview Gardens School District is super important for us. We work diligently to ensure compliance with state, federal requirements while supporting equitable access to educational services. These collaborations strengthen accountability and align resources to meet the needs of students across the partner districts.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about the partnership agreement, give you some background information. So, yeah. The Individuals and Disability Education Act, IDEA, requires states and school districts to have policies, procedures, programs that are consistent with federal policies, procedures concerning the provision of special education. In order to meet the requirements, DESE has in place the Missouri State Plan for Special Education. The plan includes regulation in which school districts must comply when implementing IDEA requirements. In particular, it includes Regulation 15, which details the regulations implementing sections 162.825, establishing a special school district. In order to meet those federal and state requirements, DESE requires each school district to adopt a local compliance plan. That plan is an abbreviated version of the state plan. It outlines the policies and procedures school districts will follow when implementing IDEA. The local compliance plan must be approved by each district's Board of Education. I skipped one. Okay. All right, so with the partnership agreement, let's see. So with the partnership agreement, that increased the knowledge and awareness of expectations. It has the inclusive and collaborative approach. It's a tool to monitor collaborative relationships, decision-making, and practices in 7 categories. And it also guides conversations. So the 7 categories for the partnership agreement is staffing, teaching, learning, and accountability, collaboration of responsibility and resources. So within that is the local compliance plan, the general assurance document, and also the principal and collaboration tool. Another category, student services, data and technology, transportation, career and technical education. So with the acknowledgement of the SSD Board of Education and Partner District Board of Education, both districts will agree to the following: endorse the vision, mission, and belief statements outlined in the Educational Partnership Agreement of St. Louis County, support collaboration of shared responsibility, and provide an equitable and seamless implementation of services for every student. Understand the following resources will guide collaborative effort to enable every child to achieve and fulfill to their potential. So within that, again, we have that local compliance plan, general assurance document, principal and collaboration tool. We commit to working cooperatively and implement the principles of the Educational Partnership Agreement of St. Louis County and the school district. So with that acknowledgement, we would require the signatures of the following individuals: the superintendent of special school district, superintendent of Riverview Gardens School District, the SSD board president, partner district board president, partner district governing council member. The purpose of the collaboration tool is, once again, to do that collaboration, have that authentic conversation, addressing the working relationship between the coordinator and the principal. The focus areas are communication and accessibility, understanding the coordinator and principal roles, have that collaborative decision-making, partnership in hiring, evaluation, and developing staff. It supports the consensus and opportunities to collectively address barriers impeding the collaboration relationship, and it's also connected to that partnership agreement, which is category 3, collaboration of resources and responsibilities. You have any questions?
Dr. May?
Thank you.
Thank you for the information. I was just curious about the assessment and evaluation that's in the partnership agreement. How often is that done? Is there one that's completed that has data in it?
Yeah, so we have a fall, and then we do another one around April and May. So Ms. Liddell and I, we have our baseline already. The principals and coordinators, they are doing theirs as well. So we received 5 from the 5 elementary schools. We have both middle schools who have already entered their results, and we're waiting for the other ones. So those should be done at the end of the month.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
And do we have data that kind of shows how our special education students are doing academically over the course of years as a result of interventions and so forth? I know that they do these general presentations with everybody's data, but I'm just saying specifically for our students with disabilities.
So we have students who are taking the district assessment, so we do have STAR data. We
Okay.
also have FAST data for students who have reading and math goals. So
Okay.
We do have data regarding progress.
Okay. Is it possible that we can have that provided to show what their growth is over the years, maybe 3-year data or something like that?
Yeah.
Yes, so Dr. May, we typically do, Ms. Mashonda, previous to her, it was Chad who did the presentation for how our students, Riverview Garden students who receive special education, how they're performing, and so that will be done this year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next item up for information is the preliminary map and ELC data. Making this presentation is Dr. Tiffany Hunter. She's the Director of Assessment for Riverview Gardens, and this is in conjunction with Policy IL Assessment Program. Dr. Hunter?
Thank you, Dr. Patton and Dr. Ramsdale. Good evening, Riverview Garden School Board, Dr. Tanya Patton, colleagues, and community. This evening, I have the pleasure of sharing with you our preliminary MAP and ELC results for the 2024 and 2025 school year. The purpose of this presentation is to inform our stakeholders about our performance on our end-of-the-year assessments and share with each of you how we are moving forward as a district in our quest to full accreditation. I want to first start by sharing our mission and vision. Our mission is to serve collaboratively educate and empower our scholars to thrive in challenging environments. And our vision through that, we plan to have high expectations for all. We'll have healthy, loving, empathetic, kind relationships. We'll keep students at the center of our decisions. We'll provide supports so that scholars can become grade level ready. We plan to have transparency, accountability, and timely, clear communication and high levels of customer service. We will ensure that all of our stakeholders have a voice, and that will be focused on college and career readiness. This mission and our vision drive our goals here in Riverview Garden School District, and it's our hope that we embody this vision so that we can complete our mission. And so now to the data. We'll start with ELA. The data that you see before you shows our ELA data from 2022 to 2025. In 2025, we did see a slight increase in our advanced scholars. However, we have noticed that our ELA performance has remained stagnant overall over the years. This data has prompted immediate discussions around Tier 1 and Tier 2 instructional materials for ELA. On this slide, you will see the performance by grade level. Our 5th and 7th grade scholars saw an increase in proficient and advanced scholars when compared to last year. However, as a district, there was a slight decrease of 0.2% when compared to last year. Below the table, you will see the breakdown of strengths and opportunities for growth for each grade band. Overall, as a district, when examining our item breakdown, we observed an improvement in how our scholars performed in drawing conclusions, vocabulary, and analyzing themes and characters. We shouldn't become complacent at the fact that these are strengths. This means that we show strength from 2024 to 2025, but there is still room in these areas for us to grow. As a district, there is a need for improvement in the area of writing and also analyzing informational text. As we move into math, from 2022 to 2025, we observed a consistent pattern of growth in this area. As you can see, there is a steady decrease in the percentage of scholars who are below basic and a continuous increase in scholars moving into the basic, proficient, and advanced levels. I pause because we should celebrate.
Yes. Yes.
To be a little more specific, when I say a decrease in below basic scholars, that's 5.5%, and that's 104 scholars. We also saw an increase of 4.6% in the basic range. That's 108 scholars. And in 2024, we only had 98 scholars who were proficient or advanced in math. In 2019, we had 119 scholars who were proficient or advanced. While this is not where we want to be, this is definitely an improvement, and it shows that we are trending in the right direction. On the next slide, you will see performance by grade level. And as you can see, in every area except 2, we saw an increase in the percentage of scholars who were proficient or advanced. This trend of growth is comparable to the state, as DESE has also reported that statewide, we saw growth in all areas except for 4th and 5th grade. And so we are trending with the state in this area. Below the table, you will see the breakdown of strengths and opportunities for growth for each grade band. Overall, as a district, our scholars demonstrate consistent strength in foundational mathematical skills, ratios, and reasoning. However, we observe that our scholars start to struggle with more complex mathematical skills as we progress into our upper grades. So with fifth and 6th grade, they're struggling with fractions and decimals. 7th grade struggling with proportional reasoning, and our 8th grade scholars and scholars in Algebra 1 with functions and data analysis. We now move into science and social studies. So overall, we observed improvements in the area of science, particularly at our secondary level. That growth can be attributed to the collaboration with WashU STEM IT, which is a professional development program that came in and that worked with our middle school teachers, provided professional development, really helped them with the curriculum that they were using, and also changes at the high school level as well. On the government EOC, which is administered at the high school level, we observed a 5.6 increase in our proficient scholars. However, we did see an increase in our scholars who are below basic. We tend to do really well in government, so these are slight decreases. Nothing immediately to be concerned about, but it is something to watch. When reviewing our preliminary results, we see growth at each grade level except 5th grade science. This data shows an increased need to ensure that science is being taught, science and social studies really, is being taught at the elementary level. Science and social studies is an opportunity to expose our scholars to different things, which research shows will help students with their background knowledge and schema, which will help them with drawing conclusions and making inferences. And so I know that the C&I department have been speaking a lot about interdisciplinary teaching and really embedding those things into our instruction. Earlier this school year, the board did approve for WashU STEM IT to begin working with the teachers at Koch Elementary. And this partnership proved successful at the middle school level. And so as a district, we are excited to see how this partnership will impact our elementary level. All of these things here are just some of the things really, on how we're responding to the data. I'll summarize it in short. So as a district, we did review this data and we discussed our next steps as we continue to push forward to full accreditation. As you all are aware, our work with Solution Tree will look a little different this year, but the work will still continue. Principals will still receive professional development from Solution Tree consultants throughout the year. Our turnaround schools will have job-embedded coaches and content coaches, and we have partnered with Ed Plus, which will provide support in taking the work of unwrapping standards and helping our grade level teachers unify that work. As a district, we understand that we must come together collectively to collaborate and continue to push the district forward. And so we are using our district PD days to do just that. This approach will enhance self-efficacy among our teachers and help ensure that across the district, we are aligned and pushing forward together. That concludes my presentation, and I am happy to address any questions that you may have.
Okay, Dr. Patton.
So, Dr. Hunter or Dr. Ramsdale or Tanya Ross, can you speak to what we're doing as it relates to ELA to ensure that we see growth in our ELA area, in the area of ELA?
Good evening, Board. We have been working diligently since the beginning of the school year, knowing that ELA was going to be a focus. We know that this is foundational to all learning. So we have first of all focused on making sure that we are addressing literacy through the workshop model, in which there is a whole group lesson. Students are then provided centers that are then differentiated but still aligned to the main objective of the lesson, which allows the teacher then to pull small groups. So as the students are rotating, the teacher is a small group, differentiating that instruction to meet the child where they are and scaffolding that back to the on-grade level content. We have identified our primary areas of need. Our students are struggling in summarizing and retelling. That is a very large conceptual process where you're taking the entire story and having to put it in your own words. So we are working on that with the older students. That then falls into, and domino effects, looking at the central or main idea of a text, especially when it becomes an expository or a nonfiction text. Working a lot on vocabulary. So we did a lot of academic vocabulary prep with our teachers at the beginning of the year, including Flowcabulary, the app. And as Dr. Hunter said, beginning the process, our students don't have frequent enough access to nonfiction text. So making sure that ELA is paralleled and disciplinarily taught with social studies and science. So you're teaching reading concepts even though you are teaching science. You're teaching reading concepts even though you're teaching social studies. Now with that comes the importance of writing. That is fundamental. You cannot understand how to read if you don't understand how to write, and vice versa. They go hand in hand. So having our students then using their writing skills to summarize and retell, and building those strategies and skills.
What he said.
I just want to reemphasize the point of teaching science and social studies, especially at the elementary school, and the philosophy that every teacher is a reading teacher. 50% of the state exam is nonfiction text. All nonfiction text is science and social studies. So if they're only getting the science and social studies text within an ELA block, and they're already reading below grade level, they're not going to reach mastery because they don't have enough exposure, okay? And then every teacher's a reading teacher. Yes, the teachers fight it, especially at the secondary level. And at the elementary level, teachers teach their favorites. If they feel like they're stronger at science than social studies, then they teach science. If they feel like they're stronger at social studies than science, then the other is true. We're really having a difficult time really pushing the fact that science and social studies is not an option, it's a requirement. And it's really hurting our students across the board. Because the reality is background knowledge comes from real things, not fiction. And so if we have to increase prior knowledge, if we have to increase background knowledge in order for our students to read, that's nonfiction. If they don't have it, they can't write. They write from what they know. They write from their lives. A made-up story comes from the television. So seeing how all the pieces fit is important to growing as educators and for providing the proper learning experiences for all of our scholars.
And that is where, Ms. Ross, the PD days come in, that become very important to our entire staff. That's why our teaching staff should be present on PD days, making sure that they are attending that. Can you all speak to phonemic awareness, phonics, and how we will be addressing that at the foundational level?
Do you want me to present the board item now?
Well, that's going to be next, so you just want to wait to answer that
Sure.
question there, Ms.
Yes.
Ross? Okay. All right. That concludes my question.
Dr. May, and then we'll have Ms. Lane next.
Okay. You kind of answered my initial question, which was going to focus on whether or not the teachers taught all the subjects. Have we, or can we, what is the discussion on departmentalizing and possibly utilizing the strength of some teachers who might be better in math or science or social studies versus that one teacher teaching everything? And my other question, to put a pin in that, is the observation of the teachers and whether or not we're seeing the fidelity of the instructional implementation of whatever the curriculum is, to notice the inconsistencies, to kind of address that as well.
Those are great questions, thank you. So in regards to the first part, departmentalization is really a principal's prerogative. They make that choice based upon several factors. Number one, willingness and capability, as well as licensure of a teacher, because a teacher might have a B3 license, birth to third grade, and all of a sudden you want them to loop to fourth grade and they don't have the right certification. So that has to be taken into consideration. Another consideration is also the maturity and compatibility of a group of students that has to be considered. So even if you have a strong teacher in social studies, you may have students that have butted heads throughout the year that you would recommend be separated the next year. So there are a lot of factors into that. I think we have right now a few schools that have departmentalized, not every school. So again, that is a choice option. In regards to the second part of your question, which was?
It was tied to observing the
The
teachers and the fidelity.
Absolutely. So as part of the CSIP, we're supposed to have a district-wide walkthrough tool. At this current time, most of the schools are using their own tools. So the principals are going in and monitoring effectiveness, if there is a posted objective, if the lesson is aligned to state standards, et cetera. So we are moving into a new phase where we'll be using a unified system and be able to collect unified data to really drive professional development and learning across the district.
Just as a quick follow-up, so the schools that you're aware of who are utilizing departmentalization, are you seeing that their performance is greater than the other sites? What is
I would have to analyze
pattern?
the data.
Okay.
And so we are just now getting ready to wrap up the STAR benchmark. And so we would have then end of the year with a cohort, and then if that group has looped, beginning of the year, and can do a comparative analysis of those that looped versus those that didn't. And we're more than happy to do that.
Thank you. Ms. Lane?
So first of all, thank you all for everything that you're doing. Secondly, Dr. Ramsdale, you said our children have a problem summarizing and retelling. So, 100 years ago, I had to read a book and write a book report. Do we do that anymore?
That's a great question. This is the fourth week of school. I'm not sure if we are at a point where students have read an entire chapter book and are writing book reports or not. That would be something I'd have to investigate.
I'm just saying, that's, to me, of course, I am not the professional, you
Yeah.
are. But it's just simple to me. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe not the whole book, but just a chapter
Yeah.
or two or so.
Yeah, and what I would say
to
is
get
that,
into the habit of
yes,
retelling.
and I see that happening where we are doing excerpts and they'll have them retell excerpts in their own words, but do whole book reports. I'm not sure if we are at that point in the school year yet. What I will say is that if the state continues to only focus on phonics and phonemic awareness, we are going to be in trouble. There are 5 pillars in literacy: phonics, phonemic awareness, vocabulary, comprehension, and fluency. You can teach phonics and phonemic awareness and have a child that can decode anything, but not have the ability to comprehend and understand because they don't have the vocabulary knowledge, the background knowledge, and the ability to comprehend, or they aren't reading quickly enough to be able to fluently get to a point that they're comprehending what they're saying versus sounding out every word. So we have to have all 5 pillars of instruction all the time, and we can't just focus, as the state is saying, on letters training, phonics, and phonemic awareness. They are foundational, yes, but there are 3 other pillars that are required.
And what the state has required, we just had this conversation earlier, is It's interesting you asked that question. So one of the charges that I gave to Dr. Ramsdale is to address the other 3 pillars that we need to make sure we're focusing on as it relates to teaching our students how to read, comprehend, be able to retell stories. So we just had that conversation earlier today.
You're the next superintendent. Congratulations.
How about that? Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Thank you.
Dr. Hunter, thank you. Moving into actions, Dr. Hunter, did you want to say something? Oh, okay. All right. Moving into moving into items for discussion. Our first item up, Ms. Ross, is the question I asked about, is the phonemic awareness and vocabulary phonics toolkits. Making this presentation is Ms. Tanya Ross. She's our ELA and Science Curriculum Coordinator, and this is in conjunction with Policy IAA Instructional Materials. Ms. Ross?
And today is my birthday.
Happy birthday!
Half that time I've been here in Riverview Gardens.
Happy birthday, Ms. Ross.
Thank you. All right, so tonight I'm offering up for discussion and later approval for the phonemic awareness and phonics toolkits, manipulatives for our scholars. Basically, these manipulatives work together to build our students' areas of word recognition and vocabulary. The smallest unit of sound is the phoneme. And with that being said, I brought a few samples. Just to demonstrate what that will look like. You know, at the kindergarten, actually at the pre-K level, the students are learning the alphabet. They should be able to not only say the alphabet, many of them come to us singing the alphabet. Well, unfortunately, that's not good enough. They should be able to, this is called a bubble pop. A bubble pop, it could be used for phonemic awareness and phonics. And basically what the students would do, they have to know isolated letters and isolated sounds. So if they was using this tool, which we are hoping to purchase this tool, and we were starting with A, not only should they be able to recognize the letter A, but they should also know that the sound for A is A. They all start with the short sound, okay? Once the teacher is actually demonstrating this in class, because the intent is to purchase one of these for every single student, they would pop the letter. It also has a twofold benefit. Not only is it trifold. Not only is it good for letter recognition and sound, it also helps with the multisensory development for our kindergarten, I'm gonna say through second grade, because some of our students, you know, don't actually develop at the rate that they should. So and we won't even get into the social emotional realm, because it's a great soother as well. This is one tool. At the upper elementary level, there's really a concentration on multisyllabic words. With that, the students learn prefixes and suffixes. If I had the word derail, two pieces, right? We have a prefix and we have a base. In the lesson, the students would practice two parts, okay? These chains have multiple uses. That's just one example. The change for the kit is in the vocabulary kit for grades 3 through 5. All of the students receive the bubble pop. mapping phonemes or mapping graphemes. The students use counters to separate the sound or create the word is one usage of such a manipulative. Now, what do we warn? The question that you're asking about. While we're not seeing our scores higher on the proficient and advanced level, there's a couple things that we have to do. We've always said that you have to teach all 5 pillars. Not only do you have to teach all 5 pillars, there is a balance of those pillars. If you're heavy weighted on one side, except for, let's say, kindergarten, first grade, right? Because they have more minutes in the phonemic awareness side. However, we have a concentration right now across the district where everybody's phonics crazy. I'm just telling you the truth. Now, there's a misunderstanding about foundational skills. Yes, our students miss them. Yes, our students need to fill those gaps. Those gaps do need to be filled, but those gaps should be filled in intervention. Tier 1 instruction is grade level instruction. It is not to be confused with intervention. And if we're taking Tier 1 minutes to do intervention, then all of our students are getting intervention and they're not receiving Tier 1 instruction. Or they are at least not receiving Tier 1 instruction for the amount of minutes that they should be receiving. The test is grade level, and it's not going to change. How do we fix that? Tools, manipulatives, graphic organizers, building background knowledge, teachers being aware of the text, teachers being aware of our students so that they're providing relevant text, culturally relevant text to our students. Reading should be fun, but if we only stuck in teaching it and delivering it one way, then we're missing several opportunities for our students to be literate and getting out of poverty. The cost of this tool will not exceed less than more than $50,000. It is phonemic awareness for K through 2 and the phonics tool kits for grades 3 through 5. Are there any questions? Yes.
The whole kit, the 325 and
It's two separate kits. No, that's one cost. Each school will get both kits. There's one kit for kindergarten through 2nd grade, and then there's another kit for grades 3 through 5. Yes.
that you just said.
Yes.
I'm done.
Dr. May?
I was just curious, I'm not sure, do we still have reading specialists or anything like that? We do. For like the middle schoolers that we identify have missed those foundational skills, would the reading specialist support that, or is there also resources similar to this kit and all of that that will help those children who have moved on but they lack those skills, but those teachers are not trained on elementary level practices? So in middle school, they're expecting that they're coming to us ready, but they need some reteaching. So what type of support is being provided when we identify those middle schoolers that have those skill gaps and there's not someone that can, you know, do the intervention reinforcement? Like, what are we doing with that?
Yes, two things. As you heard Dr. Ramsdale mention, the workshop model can be used with any discipline across all grade levels into high school. We keep referencing the workshop model because a portion of the workshop model is Tier 1 instruction. A portion of it is Tier 1 intervention. So when the students go into small groups, they're getting intervention of tier 1, not just intervention the level in which they're reading. Number 1. And then number 2, our reading specialists at the secondary level are teaching phonemic awareness and phonics. Tier 1 instruction, filling the gaps, vocabulary, 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 across all disciplines.
My last question is, with us getting these manipulatives at this point, what would be the rollout, and at what point could we see the teachers being effective in implementation, given that the school year has started and they're being introduced to something new? I was just wondering, timeline, what does it look like, training, implementation, and so forth?
So all of the elementary schools already have manipulatives. The manipulatives that's being used now may be as simple as graphing phonemes and mapping graphemes, or using the use of morphemes, which is the breaking up of prefixes to a base word or a suffix. This is just a piece of paper. What goes along with this, counters can be used with this. The students can write letters into these boxes. They don't necessarily need the physical things that go along with this. I'm not sure how many schools have these. These are not necessarily new manipulatives, but they would be new to some of our students. I can't speak specifically who has what, but many of our schools have manipulatives already. But we don't want a situation of things not being equitable across the district. Some schools have these tools and can't afford them. They're using their Title I funds for them, and that's based on enrollment. If we purchase this at the district level, now all of them will have it.
Okay, Ms. Lane?
You kind of roll right into some of the questions I had. Number one, it's my birthday. Happy birthday. Number one, the sole source letter led me to believe, okay, you can only get this at one place. There's only one manufacturer of these products, correct?
Correct.
So my question is, how many other districts? You said schools already have that, meaning schools in our district have these manipulatives already.
So when we talk about grapheme mapping or mapping graphemes, like I said, this is a piece of paper. This just happens to be one of the tools in one of the kits. We are purchasing this for small group instruction. This is purchased for the whole class.
So the question though is, do some of our schools in our district have these products, or this is something brand new to Riverview Garden School District?
I'm still going to say no, because many of the tools that are in the kit came out of letters training.
Came out of where?
Letters training, letters, the professional development that our teachers went through.
Okay.
Right.
So again,
I don't think I saw this in letters training, though.
So the ultimate question is, who else is using this product, and what are their results? Do you know any who's using these products, and you know any results? It's a single source supplier, so the $50,000 is the $50,000, period. Apparently, there's no negotiation on that. I'm just curious as to how would we determine the value? Not that I don't believe everything you're saying, but if someone else had done this, then we could look and see, oh, okay, we see that these are the possible improvements that we would have if we make this purchase.
So data-wise, the only thing I can reference right now is that many of these tools were used in the letters training. But to speak to specific schools who have this, I cannot. However, it is on the state-approved supplementary instructional list.
Okay,
And we need to purchase products on that list.
I understand that. So if it's on the state-approved purchase list, that means another district in the state has already bought this.
Yes.
So have you all talked to those other
But we have options, though. So I understand what your question is. I do not have any data from any particular school who has purchased this product.
Okay.
However, the state highly recommends the instructional resources for evidence-based reading. They highly recommend that, especially a school district like ours, purchase from that list. All school districts do not have to purchase from that list. All school districts do not and is not recommended. Letters is good practice, right? And we took part in that. But we also must equip our teachers with the resources. Not just the phonics itself tools, right? But also the instructional materials.
So, Ms. Lane, we started the letters trading, I believe it was last year, a year and a half ago. And so the outcome of that and how the manipulatives were used, we're not aware of yet. However, I think you make a good point. If we are recommending that the district purchase these, by the way, this is a grant, so will be refunded, then we need to bring forth whether it's effective or not. So what I will tell you that we will do is to look for that information and bring that back to the board so that you have an answer to that question.
But it is a grant.
It is a grant, so yes, it
That's
is
a
a
good
grant.
thing.
That's a great thing, Ms. Lane.
Yes, sir.
The internet's an amazing thing. Research, and this is the white page research from Hand to Mind, the company that makes this product. It says research into the benefits of hands-on learning using manipulatives as well as incorporating physical movement into learning activities demonstrates a higher level of student engagement, has been proven successful strategy for literacy acquisition. While it is true that preschool and kindergarten students in particular benefit from the ability to incorporate sensory and hands-on discovery into their learning, there are benefits for older primary students as well. Comprehensive and well-structured programs like these from Hands to Mind have been designed to engage students in hands-on learning and age-appropriate ways. While it may sometimes look like play, there is serious learning taking place as students develop the critical literacy skills they need through game.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions?
Thank you, Ms. Ross.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Oh, and Ms. Ross, a superintendent, just a comment
Yes,
to Ms.
ma'am.
Ross. You know, I celebrate my birthday for 30 days, so I appreciate the day being your day, but you got 30 days to celebrate your birthday.
Okay, Ms. Lane.
Okay.
All right, our next item up, come on, Dr. Ramsdale, is the after-school tutoring plan. Making this presentation is Dr. Joel Ramsdale, Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum and Instruction, and this is in conjunction with policy IGAB, Instructional Interventions. Dr. Ramsdale.
Good evening, Board and Superintendent Patton, guests and colleagues. The school year 25-26 after-school tutoring program provides extended learning opportunities in literacy beyond the regular classroom day. The program emphasizes individualized instruction and targeted interventions that directly align with state literacy priorities. The after-school tutoring program supports implementation of Senate Bill 681 by providing research-based reading interventions for students identified as performing below grade level. Students are identified using STAR Renaissance reading assessments, the multi-tier system of sport data, and individualized reading success plans. plans. The after-school tutoring program ensures these students receive the additional time and evidence-based instruction required to accelerate growth in literacy and address learning gaps as mandated by state legislation. It is recommended that the board please approve the school year 25-26 after-school tutoring program as an essential strategy to fulfill the requirements of Senate Bill 681 and to strengthen the effectiveness of the reading success plans pending the $7,000 supplement, which was presented as part of the budget transaction report in a total amount not to exceed $12,000. Are there any questions?
Dr. May?
I was just curious, with the after-school program, is it structured in a way where maybe adult is kind of helping to supervise children accessing paper? Like, how does the paper product, how is that incorporated in them getting some tutoring support as well?
They should be working, the plan is developed in such a way that it is developmentally appropriate for each grade level. So the littles would be working on phonics, phonemic awareness, letter recognition, sound alignment, blending, decoding. Older students would be working on different aspects of that literacy based upon their data. So you might have a small group that's working on doing multisyllabic words, working on comprehension skills, working on character analysis, working on different grammar components, etc. The plan is to do it 2 days a week, 1 hour on Tuesday, 1 hour on Thursday with the identified groups. And again, it is very scaffolded and it's not sitting there doing a worksheet.
So, no, I'm talking about we have the company paper that we use, we got varsity as well. So I was talking about the product, the company that we have.
Oh, the hands to mind.
Yeah, not no paper and
No.
pencil stuff. I'm talking
No.
about a company.
We don't have that anymore.
Oh, I'm not aware of that.
Okay.
That's why
Okay, we're not doing that anymore.
You're getting
Okay.
deer caught in
You
the
like,
headlights on
he
that
was
one.
like some paper.
I
I saw the look on his face. Okay, so we'll have our staff here that's going to do that, and so it's not going to be any outside entity
No.
that's doing it. So with that in mind, and talking about the data that we just talked about, are we identifying staff who have proven results in their regular school day practices that's going to be implementing this in the evening?
That would be our hope, is that we have those people, those very skilled artisans of ELA providing that. It is a volunteer sign-up position where they do get paid, but they have to then offer those services. So that is up to each building leader then to try the very best, as I did when I was a principal, to recruit them to come in and stay and get that extra little paycheck.
Ms. Lane?
The paper product was before you came. It was newly introduced to us at $265,000. And that's the reason why I remember, and Ms. Ross, not that I'm trying to dig on your $50,000, I'm just saying we approved that, and it did not prove to be as successful as we thought it was going to be. It was a 24-hour tutorial program, which I just don't think that enough was given into that.
Yeah.
But secondly, I'm guessing the $7,000 grant that I asked you for, you haven't got that.
So I have looked at far and wide. Most of the grants for, and I'm assuming we're still talking translation, right, are through business or for businesses, small businesses, not for big organizations like this.
Okay,
But yes, I did look far and wide.
thank you.
All right. Any other questions?
Yes, Dr. Ramsdale, why are we requesting a $7,000 supplement? Does it cost more this year to implement tutoring, or was it missed during the budgeting process?
That is a great question. Last year's budget was $35,000. With the budget shortfall, the budget was reduced to only $5,000. With the number of students we had, I thought it would only be fair and equitable to give at least $1,000 to each school to start with.
Thank you.
And Dr. Ramsdale, please, also, Ms. Williams, when we looked at the, what was used last year for tutoring, that's how we made the decision to reduce the tutoring budget.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Williams, that concludes our items for discussion, but I do want to say to our community and to our families that tomorrow is DESE Attendance Count Day. We need our students at school. When DESE gives us, when we have great attendance, DESE counts that day. That equals the funding for our school. This will help the shortfalls that we are having, so please, 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 please make sure your students are at school. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now we're moving to items for action. May I have a motion?
Move that we approve both items A, phonemic awareness and vocabulary phonics toolkits, and B, the tax rate hearing.
I second.
It has been moved by Dr. May and seconded by Ms. Lane to approve the phonemic awareness and vocabulary phonics toolkits and also the tax rate hearing. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Next, I will request a motion to adjourn our board meeting.
Second.
It has been moved by Ms. Tisworth and seconded by Dr. May to adjourn our board meeting. Any discussion? Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Meeting adjourned.
Cool.
Oh, wait, look, don't be so excited.
That's what I'm talking about.